Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Find the Alternative. I'm your host, Adam, 10-year former member of the World Mission Society Church of God. Today's going to be an interesting video because not only do we have a former assistant overseer pastoral staff, Quincy, who just did a video with me literally last week. So he's on again for Mitch's interview, who also happens to be a former assistant overseer pastoral staff. Now, what do you guys have in common? Maybe we should talk about that for a second.
Awesome. Quincy, let them know. What do we have in common?
All right. Yeah, so as I mentioned in my last video, I was the former assistant overseer for Eddie in Salt Lake City. And as far as I know, I was the only assistant overseer he's ever had at that time. But then when he went to wherever, Oklahoma,
hmm
he got an assistant overseer, and that's you, Mitch. So
That's me.
yeah, so that's the one thing we have in common is that we were both assistant overseers for Eddie, and so now you're here sharing
Yeah.
your story and your
And
experience.
and that we're all best friends now.
We are all best
Yes,
friends.
we
And
are
So
very
obviously
good friends. So
Eddie was my
yeah.
overseer as well. I wasn't pastoral staff or anything, but I know Eddie for 8 years. And so, yeah, so we'll introduce Mitch for a minute. Mitch, for those who don't know, your history or anything about you for the WMSCOG viewers, introduce yourself a little bit, and then let's kind of just hop into your story. And Quincy, feel free to
Okay.
chime in whenever you feel like it.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys can all hear me okay. My name's Mitch Kunico. I'm former pastoral staff of the World Messiah Church of God. I was an assistant overseer. I was only in the church a little over 6 years. Um, and I was baptized back in 2019 in San Diego. I think Quincy was maybe even baptized in San Diego too, right?
yeah.
So it's kind of funny. He's also from San Diego. I'm from San Diego. That's where we were both baptized there. And then eventually, I was only there about 2 months because I had new orders for the U.S. Navy, and I had to go to Oklahoma City to Tinker Air Force Base. But I had like a little break period in between, like about a month of leave. So I went to Denver. So I was in Denver for about a month. And then other than that, I finished up a lot of my time in Oklahoma, did a lot of short terms to different states all over the country. I went to Africa to preach as well. And yeah, I went through pre-theological school, which is like your schooling to become pastoral staff. I lived at the church. I never got paid by the church. I paid the church. And eventually um, had doubts, and we'll explain why. I got sent to Dallas because of this, and then they flew me to Korea because of this, and then eventually came back, stepped down, moved to Colorado, um, trying to keep the faith, make people happy and stuff, even though I wasn't pastoral staff, but eventually I'm done. I was done with it. Um, and the reason I'm speaking out now is because actually I was in the airport in New York, and Adam was calling me and he's letting me know, hey, Quincy's going to do his interview. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. And he's like, hey, can I mention the report that your overseer made you sign? Like these, like multiple pages documenting all your faults, even though we're not supposed to keep record of wrong. And it just seemed like straight up blackmail. Um, we'll get into that too. Um, but yeah, that's my at least basic journey. We can kind of get into the details in a sec.
Yeah. Again, appreciate you guys being here. And if that's something the viewers are interested in hearing about, I think we'll probably have to do more than just a part one. So part one's probably going to be Mitch coming in, him becoming assistant overseer, and then his time as assistant overseer, pastoral staff, all that good stuff. And then we'll kind of start getting into why he started, I guess, in a way, doubting and then, researching and all that kind of stuff. So most likely Korea and all that other stuff will be a part two, just depending on the time. So yeah, if that's something you guys are interested in, feel free to watch to the end of the video. And so let's start into the beginning, I guess. So how are you preached to, what year, etc. So let's start there.
Awesome. Yeah. So, like I said, and everyone can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I was baptized in 2019 in San Diego, and I was brought up by the assistant overseer at that time. He was a deacon, and he's actually left the church already. He was in an arranged marriage. He left the church. They sent him to Korea too. He's the one that raised me up, and the way I was preached to was actually on our military base in 32nd Street, San Diego, pretty close to Coronado. If anyone's familiar with Navy or military. I actually walked outside my barracks one day, and my friend, he was getting preached to by one of the members, and I wasn't paying any attention. Honestly, I was just waiting for him to get done talking to my friend so I could talk to my friend. So I was respectful of this. I really wasn't even paying any attention. And then he gets done. He said, well, I asked him, I was just like, what was that? He's like, oh, the guy invited me to a Bible study or whatever. I'm like, cool. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, I think I'm going to go to that Bible study. You want to come? Like, sure. But I'm like, I'm not really used to church and stuff. So I'm like, he's not either. So he's like, we need to get nice clothes to go to church, right? Yeah. So we went that day and bought like literally business attire, went to church. And then when we're at the church, they're like, oh, you can go in the sanctuary and pray. And we didn't know how to pray. So we're all like, no idea what we were doing. We're just like, it was funny.
That's
And then
funny.
anyways, I took off. I took off in my life of faith. He stayed for a bit, but then he just kind of back to like the world, as they would say. But I took off. When I was baptized, I never missed a service, Sabbath day or third day, my entire life of faith, ever. So like anybody that's like, oh, Mitch wasn't faithful, that's why he left. No, that's not true. I mean, I left my military career for the church. I gave up career for like airline pilot. Like I let go of a lot of these things to go fully engulfed into this church. So that's my story of how I was preached to and everything like that. And then I was there only 2 months in San Diego,
Mitch, can
and
I
then I
just say
got sent.
something?
Yeah,
Um,
go ahead.
so when I was in San Diego at Santee, um, there were a lot of military members, because obviously
Yes.
San Diego is a military city. And I noticed that when we preach to military members, they're very easy to pull in because when you're in the military, you kind of are already like, you've gotten rid of any, what's the word? Like you're already in that mindset to just follow and obey because you're working for the
Hmm.
government
Your
and you
pride.
just listen to, everything that's told to you. So I noticed that when I would study with military members, they were very receptive to what we had to say. So that's why, we had so many military members
Yeah.
in San Diego, and
San
I don't
Diego.
know.
You're right.
Yeah.
So many. Most of the young adults, even
Yeah.
the pastoral staff, were military.
Yeah.
And like for me, when I was in San Diego, there's always something in life that brings us into these groups. And I just got back from Japan. I lived in Japan 2 years, and me and my buddies, we were really close in Japan. But when we come back to the States, everyone's off having girlfriends and doing their thing. So at this point in time, I don't really have time because I'm like busy with military work. And then at the same time, I was working on my private pilot license. So I was so busy studying, I didn't have time for friends, and I was getting lonely actually because I was so busy. Other people were busy, and I was just like grinding. And it was so funny because like this was the time when I got preached to, and then when I went to the church and getting love bombed and everyone, I was like, dude, I got a community now, like people to talk to. So it just sucked me right in, and I just went for it. I took the bait,
Yeah.
sunk it. Yeah, it was bad. So that was that. And then I was there about 2 months, and I had a month of leave, so I went back home to Colorado. And while I was in Colorado, I preached to one of my really good friends from high school. He ended up getting baptized, and I just left him alone because the very next day I went to Oklahoma City, and they rose him up. And then he's in Austin, Texas now, leader in the church and everything as well. But when I was in Denver, I didn't know all the Daniel Park stuff that was going on. Daniel Park wasn't there when I was in Denver, and if anyone doesn't know Daniel Park, he's a split off group of the WMSCOG Church of God. He's a rogue pastor, started his own church, and he took a lot of members out of the church to follow him. Well, when I was in Denver, they had a front group for Daniel Park. It was called the Seven Thunders, and all these young adults, they're all following the teachings of Daniel Park. And I'm getting taught these things. And I'm on Zoom classes with them all the way up to me going to Oklahoma. I eventually leave Denver. I go to Oklahoma and carrying out my life of faith in Oklahoma. And I'm still on Zoom classes with this Seven Thunders for almost 5 to 6 months. But I'm like, this is really weird. Like they're teaching some pretty strange things that I'm used to than what I'm used to. And there was a deacon in Oklahoma, and they used to be mean to me. Like, I'm a new member, guys. I didn't even know anything yet, right? I didn't know we couldn't talk to people from other states. I didn't know any of the stuff that was going on with in Denver with like Daniel Park and his cult inside of a cult. Kind of a funny, coincidence. It's literally what it is. I didn't know, and they're being mean to me. Why do you talk about Denver? Because we always like to boast about people who bore a lot of fruit, and they were bearing a lot of fruit, which is like leading people to the church. And I was like, I don't see what the problem is. Even head office dropped a video about them, like the Seven Thunders. They dropped a video about them. So I'm kind of getting all this flack for talking about Denver and not knowing that I wasn't supposed to be on like, because you're not supposed to talk to people from other churches
Yeah, once
at
you
all.
leave, you just cut off communication with all
You
those
have to cut
previous
off. It's
members.
very strange.
Yeah.
If they were your friends, best friend, doesn't matter. You cut them off because they're in a new church now. So I'm getting rebuked pretty much for doing this. So I cut it off. I cut off all ties to this Seven Thunders, and a lot of those members actually moved to Austin, Texas, where my friend's at. And one of the leaders, um, Elder Brandon, I don't think he follows him anymore, but he was following his teachings originally. And yeah, I got a lot of flack for that. It really hurt me when I was doing my faith. Honestly, I'm surprised I didn't fall away because I was getting rebuked for something I didn't even know I was doing wrong. Eventually, yeah, I start my career. I still in my Navy career, but I have a new job working for like the Nuclear Defense Force, like STRATCOM and stuff for the United States Navy. I'm working on one of the really awesome plane, the E-6B Mercury. You guys can look it up if you want. It's called the Doomsday plane, right? So it's literally meant for World War III. Let's just put it that way. It's kind of funny, how the tides have turned when I'm getting studies about like the end of the world and World War III, and then I'm like, wow, my job deals directly with this situation, and I had to get my security clearance, and I started my job. Man, I was getting persecuted in Oklahoma in the Navy. I was getting persecuted so hard because, I just have all this faith preaching to everybody. I was persecuted really hard. Eventually it got better, but yeah, because people realized, oh, he's a good worker, like just let him follow his weird group or whatever. But during that time, my first year, about my first year in Oklahoma City, I was getting up at 4 a.m. to go to work because I had to be there really early. So I had to get up at 4 a.m. and we worked 12 to 15-hour shifts, like really long shifts. And immediately after that, I go to the church to go preach every single day. All my Sabbath days, third days, I'm going there to preach. And at this time, we had a overseer. He was elder at that time, but it's Pastor Jason now. And members are staying up until like midnight to 1 a.m. studying the Bible at the church. And it's already late. It's like midnight for me. And there's this one deacon, and I'm like, Deacon, I have to go to work pretty early. I think I need to head out. And he would say, according to your faith, brother. And he would say it in that kind of tone, according to your faith, brother. What does that mean, Quincy and Adam? What does it imply when they say according to your faith?
Well, to me, it means, it's a way for the organization, in my opinion, to like enforce their will, but also do it in a way to where you're doing it yourself, which kind of involves like you gaslighting yourself, because the application is, if I leave, I have weak faith. If I stay, I have strong faith. But they're able to put you in that pretzel without really saying anything by just using those words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
because
basically saying,
everything. Yep.
they're basically saying, okay, if you want to put yourself first before the church, go ahead. You do you, and then I'll do me, you know? That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, because when you join this church, you think, oh, keep the Sabbath day, keep the Passover, you go to heaven. But they keep moving the goalposts. Oh, if you're not preaching, no heaven. If you're not tithing, no heaven. If I'm not studying God's word, I'm being worldly and no heaven. So it's implying like do or die. Like if we're going extreme, that's really what they're saying. And so my first year in the truth was really difficult because of this one deacon. He was very rude to me because of what was going on like with the Denver church, which I didn't even know. They never even cared to sit down and talk to me about what happened, like with Daniel Park and how there's like this other cult group. Instead, they just rebuked me and looked at me like I'm a part of his group. And I didn't even know this. I didn't learn about this until like 4 years later. It was terrible. And that really hurt me in beginning life faith, but I just kept pushing through because, you know, for father and mother, right? I mean, it's not about members, you know, sometimes they're a little rude or mean, even though they're not supposed to be, but I would just push through because I just wanted to follow God's will. Genuinely, I wanted to be the best person I could. I really wanted to follow God. And this is the way I thought was the way to heaven. So I did everything I could to be as perfect as I could. No cursing, no drinking, no smoking, fixing my character the way I look, working nonstop at the church. No one can say I have pretty much a photo from every single day I was ever at Zion. I was there every day. So that happened. Then yeah, 2020 hits, which is like COVID, right? I don't know what month. March? Was it March of 2020?
March, yep.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, so March of 2020.
Which by the same, remember, I don't know, I don't remember, that was the same week that there was an earthquake in Salt Lake City. So
Yes, that was
it was,
crazy.
there was an earthquake at Salt Lake City, which never happens, but it was also the same week where, you know, the president was like saying, hey, okay, we need to shut everything down. And for us, we were like, well, for me, it was like, this is the end. Like, Father is going to come. Like, this is really the end. And so we were,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah.
And there was a crazy windstorm too that like knocked a bunch of trees over, and
Yeah. It was
just
a weird
bam,
time.
bam, bam.
It was a weird time.
Yeah. Yes, that's all. Yeah, it's just crazy what happened. COVID was a crazy time for everybody, right? And
Yeah.
me included. We live in a red state, Oklahoma, when I lived there. You guys as well. So
Yeah.
I think we had some like laxed things. We still didn't keep like worship at the church for like maybe 2 years, year and a half. And you know, before COVID, you know, I'm preaching, I'm using my car to go on all the short terms because nobody wants to donate their car to go to short terms. It was always me.
Yeah.
Literally all the time. And then COVID hits, everything shuts down. During COVID, I became a unit leader. I got done with like all my subjects, all my 70 subjects, became a unit leader. And because we couldn't have worship at the house, we started to have worship at other people's houses, like small groups. Maybe young adults go to this house. My home, my house was used for worship. I have the photos and everything. So if the church again is like, Brother Mitch, he was never faithful, that's why he left. Yet my entire house on Sabbath days and Thursdays was packed with brothers that I hosted them. We used to say, just like Mark's upper room, Brother Mitch's upper room, because I had an upstairs apartment. So we kept the Passover in Mitch's upper room. That's what we would say. Feet washing and everything in there. And that's when, guys, I've only been in maybe a year and a half at this point. And I'm doing this for almost 2 years because of COVID. And then COVID ends. Does anyone kind of remember when COVID ended?
I don't know, but I mean, it was, I think, the end of 2020 that
Okay.
we started keeping worship back in the building. But I
Yeah.
think every
I
place is
think it was like
different.
2021 even.
Maybe, I think so. Yeah. I
And
can't. Yeah.
yeah.
And we had
And
to
what
like
was
be super separate. Like
Mhm.
there'd be like 2 persons or 3 persons per
On a
pew or something
pew.
like that.
Yeah.
And mass
Wow.
all the time indoors. And it was
Like wiping down
And
pews after with like I don't know, whatever solution you had.
disinfectant.
Disinfectant, yeah.
And I have another thing to say during COVID. During COVID, because our job was it wasn't normal for like the other parts of the Navy to be doing what we were doing. But because my job in the Navy at that time was Stratcom and with the plane I was working on, and I have another thing to say, honestly, I want to go back a little because do you remember I said that I was being sleep deprived my first year of faith because, I was literally getting only maybe 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night. And I just want people to know how critical of my job was in the nuclear defense force. And a lot of stuff relied on me with the plane I used to work on. And being this sleep deprived and working with the security clearance I had and the job I was doing, it could have been really bad. You know what I mean? I'm glad nothing ever happened. I was trying to be as focused as I could at work, but I was being sleep deprived, and I let that deacon know, but that guy always kept pushing me. And during COVID, I want to get back to my job too. During COVID, because our job was like important, I guess, for the Navy, they were doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off because they couldn't have the whole place going sick with COVID because we had a critical job for, you know, the world, like genuinely for America. So we were 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And when I was 2 weeks off, guess where I was at?
Zion.
The church,
The
doing
church.
construction by myself every day because everybody else is at work or everybody else can't come to church. But the overseer, I was at the church literally for 2 weeks straight at the church every single day from morning to night doing construction, something. COVID ends. I'm a unit leader. I get put into pre-theological school pretty soon after, and I start pre-theological school. Quincy, I don't know because we were in a different time. I don't really. Did you guys even have a pre-theological school when you were in, or it was
When
just you're an assistant?
So when I was already living in the church, that packet for the pre-theological just didn't exist when I moved in 2015, but it wasn't until around this time that became a thing. So even though I was already living in the church for a while and I was already an assistant overseer, I had to do those packets, which
Okay.
I hated doing because it was a thick packet. It's a lot of work.
Remember, it says you need to write a letter to mother like twice a month.
Yeah. It was just a lot of information, and it was just.
And then it was also
Yeah.
saying like your faults, like a scale system. Did you
Like a
pray enough this week?
self-evaluation. Yeah.
Did you repent? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It reminds me a little of Scientology on how they just keep track of everything and then they just use it against you later.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get on with the story. So yeah, COVID ends. I start pre-theological school, and during this time, overseers changed. Pastor Jason and Quincy, Sophia, they went to Sunland and then Kansas City. But then we had Elder Justin and Quincy Annie. Hey, Quincy Annie, I'll give a shout out where shout outs due. She was awesome. That overseer wife was super awesome. My wife loved her too. Justin, you weren't too bad, but come on, man. Dude, there was a time, and like it just started coming out of nowhere because I'm a pre-theological student now, so he starts treating us differently. Same thing we talked about, Quincy, or it's like, I'm not going to compliment you anymore. It's just like this very dry
Yeah.
conversations,
I
very
s-
just cut and
I
short.
I didn't mention it in my video, in my interview, but yeah, there was a point where the overseer Eddie, he just came into where I was working, and he's like, Deacon, I just want to let you know, going forward, I'm not going to be praising you as much. I'm not going to be saying good job. I just wanted to let you know. And then he walks away.
Same,
I'm just like,
same with me. You're just
what
like,
was that about?
what?
Yeah, I
So
don't know what that was about, but that's what he said,
let
and
me
I
tell
just
you,
thought
Quincy, it's
it was
because
so weird.
I saw the video. I saw the video. Head office made a video, and I probably wasn't even supposed to see it, but Eddie made me see it because it was overseer education only.
Yeah.
But he had me watch it, and maybe because I was such a bad assistant, so he's having me watch it, and it's saying stuff like, you need to rebuke your assistants. You need to treat them like, pretty much like I'm your little slave. I'm your little slave,
Yeah.
and I just need to shut up and listen. And I did for a while, and then I started to raise my voice and speak out because of certain things. But thanks for mentioning that. And back to Justin, he used to get mad. He would get mad at me and freak out on me on the phone. He's like, "You think we're friends? We're not friends."
Mhm.
But it was because I was like, "Hey, God bless you, Elder Justin," because I used the word "hey" at the beginning in the phone call. Freaked out. He's like, "That's slang." What? I'm always like, "Hey, how's it going, Quincy? Hey, God bless you. Hey, how's your day going?" And I asked him, I was like, "You came from the West Coast, right?" I'm like, all the overseers and like pastoral staff, many of them say, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, God bless you." It's not slang. It's a filler word. And this guy used to freak out, and I couldn't change it because I'm so used to saying, "Hey, God bless you." And he used to freak out all the time over me doing that. And I didn't really take it to heart. Didn't hurt my faith or anything at that time. It wasn't serious enough to like really affect my faith because I had a strong like foundation in this group. So it didn't affect me. And continuing on 2020, 2023, I think I get out of the military at this time, even though I was going to go career. Brother, you're pastoral staff, you're about to become it. So you need to just like, this is it now. So I left that. Um, and we're just going on a lot of short terms. And this was one thing, it kind of irritated me. I, I put thousands and thousands of miles on my car every year because it's me. I'm the one doing all the driving for going to Arkansas, Texas. I'm taking all the brothers, and half the time, some don't even pay me for gas.
Hmm.
So I'm using my vehicle, using it for, everything. I have to deal with all the maintenance cost on it too. I'm the one doing all the driving to all these places all the time. I'm on every short term. If there's a short term, I'm going to it. It wasn't a question for me. So I'm preaching all the time, even preaching meetings just in Oklahoma. I'm using my car for the most part. And this is how it was. Even higher leaders than me, like deacons and stuff, still Brother Mitch's car. I'm literally just driving everybody around for everything all the time.
That reminds
This
me,
did
Quinn. Remember when you got that van?
Yeah.
tell your
Yeah.
van
Did
story,
you have to
Quincy.
get the van because like the
Tell
church
everyone
wanted
about
you to, or
Wait, sorry, Adam, I didn't hear you. What would you say?
I was just saying, did you get the van? Because I remember you got a brand new Sienna.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Why
And
did
it
I
just
get that? So,
yeah, Mitch was
why did
talking
you
about
get
it.
it?
It's
Yeah,
like,
so
why?
I've had my car. It was like a Mazda sedan. I had it for
A Maserati?
no, a Mazda.
Yeah,
Maserati. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
I got you.
I had that for a while, and so I wanted to trade it in, and I told Eddie, but then, he's trying to convince me to get a van so that it could be used for like the gospel work, because actually when I told him we were going to be having the student Korean student group that was going to be coming, so I think it was IUBA, they were going to be coming, in a couple months. So he was trying to say like, hey, what do you think about getting a van? Like, you can, because they're going to be preaching every day, and it's like you can take all of them in one van in one car. And I was like, I don't know, like I didn't want to be driving a van. Like, yeah, I'm
A
that's just
soccer
not me.
mom over here.
That's exactly why I didn't want to get it, because I felt like I was going to be a soccer mom.
like
Um,
Adam. You're
like,
gonna be like Adam, that
so
soccer mom over here.
guilty.
so at first I told him like no, I don't want to do it. I just want to get a regular, 4-door sedan, something that's just like something that I like. But then he just kind of kept him, indirectly, like guilt tripping me, like, oh, but this is for the gospel,
Yep.
you're an assistant overseer, blah, blah, blah. this is like, we should be doing everything for the gospel. And I said, well, let me think
Yep.
about it. And so, one night I'm in my room, and my wife at the time, she starts talking to me, and she starts convincing me like, hey, you know, Eddie wants to, he wants you to get this car, like it's for the gospel. And so now I'm hearing it from her as well. And so I'm just like, I'm hearing it from her, I'm hearing it from Eddie, and it's just that constant guilt tripping,
Yeah.
and shaming. Like, if you don't do what
And you
you
know what?
want them to do,
No,
yeah,
yeah. And you know what would have probably happened? By the time you moved, because assistants, we move around too.
yeah. Oh, it
It would
would
have been like, you
stay
should
with
keep it here.
yeah, that's
Yep.
exactly what would have happened, because
It's
it's the church
guys,
van.
everything's a trap. Everything is a trap in this group.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it later, but like I was told, you shouldn't have kids. You should snip yourself. You should sell your car. You should give all your money to the church. Why? Okay, now no kids, so I'm stuck, I can't have kids. Then I sell my car, so now I'm at the whims of transportation from the church. And then I have no money, so now I can't escape. So it's just like just sucking you in, and I just felt it. I just felt this like umbrella.
Yeah.
And guys, we're already working so hard. Why do you have to do all this extra stuff? Why are you trying to suck us in and even more? We're not even getting paid. We
Oh
were
yeah,
not. We
we never
never
got
received
compensated.
pay.
Yeah, never.
Quincy, did you ever get paid as an assistant?
Never, not once.
Like
The only
income, like an
time,
income.
no income. The only time I ever got any like income, like some money from them, was the day we moved out of Zion. After telling Eddie I was going to be stepping down from pastoral staff, we moved out on Resurrection Day of 2021, and they gave us a $3,500 check for
Awesome.
helping us
Yeah,
to move out.
yeah.
That was it.
Quincy, I think they liked you more than me because guess how much I got when I left, guys? After everything I did, all I gave, guess how much I was given when I left that Sunday?
0.
0.
Yeah.
So you guys think it's okay, like, to like take everything? And it was coerced. It was. They did coerce me out of my money. Again, tithe and offering, guys, that was out of my heart. And I will never say anything bad about that because from the end, I did that out of my free will. And even a lot of my paycheck, when I had my like engineering job when I left the military, I was already giving a large chunk of that money to the church still. But I don't want to get too far ahead. I kind of want to continue. I think we're going to wrap back around to this, and it's an important part. But I wanted to mention that. Thanks for sharing that, Quincy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joined theological school. We did multiple educations, and yeah, it's even harder. So already we're keeping all the feasts, right? So we have all the feasts we're keeping, which is how many in total is everything?
7.
Yeah,
7
we have 7
feasts.
annual feasts, but then we got like the prayer weeks, which is
Oh,
like 10 days each.
right.
So guys, there's
Yeah.
so many
Commemoration
days.
services.
Yeah,
Like,
29
Yeah, we're
early
taking
morning
off
worships.
so many days of
yeah.
work. And
And
then
then you
on
have New
top of
Year's
that,
all that stuff too.
when you're a theological student, you usually meet 2-3 times a year in like a different part of the state, different part of the country for like education. And just imagine how much time we're taking off. Like you just can't maintain a job. I'm lucky because when I worked as like a heavy equipment mechanic after the military, I was able to get it off. And like when I worked as an engineer, I was able to get it off. But most people, I've seen so many people have to quit jobs after job because they're spending so much time at the church. And guys, I want everyone to know, if you're a gospel worker, you're at the church every day. There is no day you're not at the church. You're there every single day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They want to separate you from any worldly friends, anything worldly. Everything needs to be about this, the church, the gospel for father and mother. And it kind of gets a little, like too bearing sometimes. Did you experience a lot of that, Quincy? Like difficulties with, I don't know how your situation was, but even maybe Adam, like about like having to like leave a job or having to take all these days off all the time? Or
Yeah, it happened in you helped me remember us something that happened in San Diego. I was working for a bank, and I was there, and then there was also another brother working there, and Passover unleavened bread fell on a Monday, Tuesday. So we both needed to request it off, but our supervisor told us that, one of you guys can have the Passover off and one of you guys can have unleavened bread off. So
that's
we,
like a death sentence to
yeah,
us.
so one of us had to, take one of the days off, but obviously we kept both of them. But it just goes to show how you really are willing to put your job on the line. And if they don't grant you your request so that you can keep the feast, then you're willing to get fired and look for another job. And that's what happened. I ended up leaving that job and going somewhere else. So it's just they make you put all church activities first before your job, even if it
Yeah.
means losing your job.
Yep. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's true, guys. Like this is the stuff that happens. And moving on from that point, I'm just trying to hit a lot of points that this group does. So
Yeah.
people, it's not even this. Mine isn't really much about doctrine for the most part right now. And maybe that's going to be part two. It's just letting people know what it's like to be an assistant overseer in the World Mission Society Church of God. And I know I'm kind of telling my story right now, but this is what we want to share because nobody's done it. No assistants have ever spoken out except for me and Quincy now. So
What was your
it's really
living
important you guys.
situation like? What was your living situation like in the church? Like their room, like what was that?
Well, I think because Eddie didn't like me, he didn't want me to live in the church with him. So there's a shed outside. And then I will say it's converted. And it wasn't that bad, guys. It wasn't that bad. Like it was converted. But yeah, we lived in a shed,
Hmm.
but we paid for rent and then we had to pay for our food. But we don't get paid by the church, but we have to pay the church for everything.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. It wasn't bad, but just like you said, first one in, last one out. It's a really weird thing, and it's like it's something they do in the military. You know what I mean? And this group is ran like the military. And if the military didn't tell you the way they were going to treat you beforehand, it would probably be called a cult, the military, because it's structured. The superiority, you know, authoritarian leaders, you can pretty much say, and you have to listen and subdue to their will. But guess what? When you join the military, they have videos out there of how terrible boot camp is. They tell you it's going to suck. They tell you it's not going to be fun. They tell you you're going to be beat, cursed at, yelled at. But guess what they also do, though? They tell you all of this, but and they put you through this, but at least they tell you, they show you how it is, and you at least get paid for it.
Yeah,
But with the
seriously.
church, when you join these places, they don't tell you any of this. They don't tell you, they keep everything secret. You don't know what it's fully going to be like until you're there. But you're abused, but you don't get paid either. It's just you're just getting slapped all over the face all the time. Father and mother. And I wanted to mention some other things. I got called into, this is like 2022, 2023. I get called into Elder Justin's office this time because that's my overseer at the time. And do you know, I won't say his last name, but Brandon. Do you know what Brandon? And I'm like, I knew the one he was talking about. He's from San Diego. He was the assistant there. He's like, "Do you know him?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Like that guy had the best faith. Like literally, I never met another person with better faith. Like it was better than Eddie's. To me, that guy knew every sermon inside and out. And he said he left the church. And he says he's been going around and contacting people. And he's starting his own church. That's what I was told. So keep
Hmm.
this in mind. So I'm like, whoa, Brandon? Like I was shocked. Like still didn't lose faith, but I'm like, what? No way. We go to a pre-theological education in Denver, and it's like the biggest gathering ever. It's like 4 regions, and I see the brothers that kind of raised me up in San Diego. They were there too. and they were shocked. They've been in the truth way longer than I had, but I'm already like up, like in the process to become pastoral staff. They were shocked, and hugs. It's good seeing them, and they kept. I was like, how's Brandon? Because I already knew because Justin told me,
Yeah.
but I wanted to see. So I was like, how's Brandon? They ignored it, changed the subject. I had to bring it up almost 10 times before I got an answer from somebody. One of the brothers, I pulled him aside, and I was like this, and I was like, how's Brandon doing? And all he said was this,
Mm,
like, he's dead. Because he is to them. He's dead to the church spiritually, right?
yeah.
Later on, I come to find out when I'm doubting and leaving, I get in contact with this guy. He never reached out to me. Actually, he makes it really hard to contact him. He never reached out to other people. He never started his own church, but they spread this lie about him. And I know it firsthand because my overseer told me that's what he's doing, but he never was. So
Mm,
it just shows you how much they try to scare members about these people because, like, again, they're total control. So you don't go online, you can't see anything, so you only get one narrative. You only get the church's narrative. So if the church tells you they started their own church, if the church tells you their second coming Christ, you believe it. Well, guess what? I'll give you another one. They tell you C.W. Kim, who is one of like the ones in General Assembly, who was one of their higher up pastors. He left to join Church of God Jesus Witnesses. They told me he's second coming Christ. No, I talked to the guy. No, he's just an elder in the church. Daniel Park's church. I'm not saying what he's doing is right. Super messed up. They say he's claiming to be second coming Christ. No, but he is claiming to be a prophet. So that's not much better. But I'm just like, this is what this group does. They do anything to hurt
discredit
somebody's
you.
character, discredit you,
Yeah.
and that's when like the blackmail comes up. We'll mention later. But yeah, that happened, and during this time, I got to go to New Windsor and all this stuff. I'm still pre-theological. I get sent to Africa for a while, Zambia, Africa. This was a fun part. I'll be honest. I got to give credit where credit's due. I love, like, even though I paid for everything. I went to Africa, stayed there. We brought a lot of people into the church. But maybe in one of the other stories, we'll dive into this more because we have to get going. But I was detained, me and multiple people, while we were in Africa for a little while. Yeah, we'll get into that later. Thanks, World Messiah Church of God. Anyways, I come back, and now overseers are changing. They change. Uh, it was Elder Justin Quincy Manny, and now it was missionary at that time, missionary Eddie, and deaconess Emma. Many people knew her formerly as Emily, right?
Yes.
She's changed her name. It's Emma now. So, and now we know he's Elder Eddie. So I'm gonna refer to him now on with that name. They came. They were awesome. Awesome. I have nothing bad to say about how Eddie and Emma treat the members, the lay members. I think it's amazing. I wasn't even pastoral staff yet. I'm still in pre-theological, still about to move into the church, but I thought everything was great. I thought, wow, and he has a lot of drive. They're so nice and this and that, but then it all falls apart pretty quick between us, and it's because of how he was treating me. But yeah, how was Eddie for you guys? Like towards members? I bet Adam is like, yeah, he was great towards us and everything, right?
I mean, honestly, I don't have really anything bad to say about Eddie. I mean, he was always very cordial to me, was very nice, polite, very respectful. I looked up to him like a older brother, almost like a father figure, honestly. So, I mean, me personally, I have nothing to say that's bad, really.
Yeah, I agreed, and that's why, like, when you're not in the position me and Quincy, where I think him and Emma are doing great in the church, and like I don't want to, like, that's why I'm not even gonna I where it needs to be said, it's gonna be said, right? But again, they were great with members. I think they were amazing with members.
Mm.
But Quincy, when you become pastoral staff, how does that dynamic change?
Oh, it's completely different. You see a different
Completely.
side of him behind closed doors when members aren't around because now the relationship is overseer, assistant overseer, or you don't have to be an assistant overseer. If you're going to be part of the pastoral staff, you're just treated very differently. It's a lot more strict on you. You need to be more disciplined. You have to follow everything they say. You have to not question anything, because a lot of times I would just suggest an idea or bring up an idea, but he always kind of painted it as I was opposing him. He would always use that word, opposing. Like, why are you opposing me? I'm like, I'm not. I was just suggesting a different idea, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying that my idea was better. I was, providing just a different
Yeah.
opinion on the situation, but he didn't like it. You just got to do whatever he needed to do, or whatever he wanted to do.
Exactly. So yeah, it's at this point in time, guys. I get done with Theological, and it's confirmed I will become pastoral staff. I will. So I move into the church. I'm not even considered fully pastoral staff. I'm still doing everything pastoral staff does. Everything pastoral staff does, because I'm going to be. Like, it's just not on paper yet that I'm going to be. But anyways, I'm in the church now. Dynamic changes completely, and it's not the discipline. Like, it's not the, I knew I'm in a leadership position. I knew Eddie might yell at me sometime. I knew I might irritate him. I knew I was being held to a higher standard. That's not a problem, guys. Like, I think in most churches too, like,
Yeah.
if you're a higher up leader and then like there's like the assistant, like, the assistant should still be respected. And I think it's even worse so in the WMSCOG Church of God. I think we're even way more disrespected than any other organization or other churches would do to like their people, because they would never disrespect them, or but yeah, there's this hierarchical structure,
Yeah.
even in churches. And yeah, we're used to it. We're in a high position. There's probably going to be discipline or like something. That's okay, right?
It's when they begin to
Here's where I have
abuse that power, that authority.
exactly. And then he starts wondering, where do I even start with this? I got a good job around this time. I became an engineer, mechanical engineer for like a startup, like electric vehicle startup that moved to Oklahoma. And I'm not just trying to here to like say my income, but like I was making over 100,000. We're gonna just say that, right? For the sake of the video, I'm not trying to put out numbers to people. Good job. So I'm already paying my tithe and my offerings. I'm not even an assistant yet, but like I was told, like, if you want to do this, you got to move in. But then when you move in, I got to pay rent with them. Like, it's like 3 something more, maybe around 300. But then for food, another like 300 I need to give. And then my wife doesn't work, so like all my tithe and offering, I need to split it with her too. So tithe, offering. So tithe is pretty hefty right now. Giving a lot with offering, like my Sabbath offerings, I'm giving more. I gotta do my, wife's tithe now, and then on top of that, my rent with the church. But on top of that, out of my heart, guys, because I had a good job, I was giving a couple extra $1,000 to the church a month because I had a good job, right? Eddie comes up to me and he's like, brother, and again, this part is even that bad. He's like, brother, you're going to be pastoral staff, and I don't think like, you're going to be pastoral staff and you need to live a frugal life. And I'm like, I agree. He's like, I think you should be giving more to the church than I am. I'm offering probably more than any member right now in OKC, but I'm like, yeah, I got a good job. You're right. I'm not going to have this job forever. I'm going to move on to another state or something like that. And, it's all about the church for me. So guess what I was doing at that point? I was giving more than like on top of tithe, on top of offering, like my like Sabbath offerings and my rent that I had to pay for them. I was giving well over $3,000 to the church at this point. Well over it. Barely have enough even like my savings. I'm not really saving anything. He pulls me aside, and this is where things start going downhill, because I realize he doesn't trust me, even though I'm being honest with him. This is where do you know how hard it is to work with somebody that says they trust you, but the words they use blatantly show they don't trust you. Do you know how hard it is to work with a person like that?
That was my whole life as an assistant overseer for Eddie when it comes to
They say, I trust you,
everything.
I trust you. But every word they use against us, I even told them, like, later when we called, like another time we had a phone call, and I'm like, I feel like I was taken as an intellectual idiot, and that you think you're intellectually smarter and better than everybody. Because that's how I felt. Because I'm like, I felt like he had to think Mitch is so stupid that he's not even going to realize the words I'm using it on him right now. He's not even going to realize that it's actually a poke or a jab at him. And he just uses words to make it seem like, no, brother, it was for just you and your faith. Anyways, he pulls me aside and he says, brother, you know what your sins are? Isn't that a weird question? Like, they just come up and ask you. He's like, you know what your sins are? And I'm like, yeah, I think I know what my sins are. He's like, your sin is money. Boom, right now my head is like this. Money. I'm kind of mad when he said this. It's money. I said, Eddie, my sin is not money. And he's like, oh, then what is it? So I started naming off. Well, I think I have this sin. I have this sin. I have this sin. I have this sin. I'm working on all these. But one thing I don't have a sin of is money. And I was felt disrespected. He asked me that because when you take an oath, like, I had to go through a board meeting to become pastoral staff. I had to sit with our regional leader, and they ask you questions. Are you going to take an oath to be frugal, like with money and stuff like this? And I said yes. I even told him, Eddie, I already took an oath to be frugal. He's like, oh, okay. That's not the one. This is when I'm like, I thought it was a one-time thing when he would say this. So I'm like, maybe it was one-off. Maybe he believes me. Like, even though he said that, it kind of hurt. So I'm like, well, maybe because I told him the truth, which I did out of my heart. I told him the truth. So I'm like, maybe it's done. It's done with. We'll just move on. No. I'm already giving almost everything to the church at this point. He comes up to me again. Brother, I know how much you make. I don't think you're giving everything to the church. Like, he does it in this weird tone, like, to make it seem like natural. Like, it's like okay for him to start talking about this again. And he says, oh, brother, he would bring up, I hate talking about money. Oh, I hate it. But brother, Father and Mother, blessed with your job. I don't think you're not giving enough. I'm like, Eddie, what? Are you bringing up money again? Like, I'm giving over, not including my tithe and offering, I'm giving well over $3,000 to you guys right now. And he starts showing me papers like, see, we need help with this stuff. Like, they're in church insurance and this and that and that. And I'm like, man, how did this church survive without me? Because he's making
Yeah.
it seem like I am so needed. My money, it's so needed for the bills and everything. It's needed. And in my head, I'm like, wow, like, man, I don't know how we've been surviving this whole time, this whole church without me.
Yeah.
Because he's really trying to put it on me. And dude, it just felt wrong because he's just pushing me more. Because I kept telling him, Eddie, I don't feel like I'm giving out of my heart anymore. At this point, and this isn't the last time he brought it up to me, guys. Like, I told him, Eddie, like, it's not out of my heart anymore. And he tried to make me have a budget. Think about it, I'm not even getting paid by the church. He's all up in my bank account. Like, you need it. Like, he's like, I need a number from you, and that's all you can save. That's it. He says, and then he's like, you save up to that point. I'll let you save up to that point. But once you have that safeguard, whatever it's called, no more, like, you give everything to the church at that point. Everything goes to the church at that point. It's crazy, right? And guys, think about this. I looked up labor laws. Giving your money, coercion, like guys, I'm not getting paid. Most assistants get paid. I didn't get paid. Quincy didn't get paid by the church. We're paying the church. I am literally paying the church to live there. I'm paying for my food. I'm paying for everything. I don't get a dime from the church, but they get my time, my effort, and all my money And then he has the audacity. He tells me again, Mitch, money's your sin. I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, so this point, I lost my trust in my overseer because he didn't trust me. He didn't trust me. I lost all trust. And this is when I kind of start going a little rogue because I wasn't putting up with the way he would talk to me anymore, the way his wife was treating me. And I remember I flipped out on him. I was like, no, I literally flipped, just like Quincy. He overworked you that time and you just blew,
Yeah.
right? Same with me. I blew.
I think
I couldn't take it anymore.
You reach a boiling point at a certain point. Like, you can only take so much.
You do.
And then you can't hold
Quincy,
it
I
in
don't know
anymore.
how you did it. I don't know how you did it as long.
As an assistant
I would still
overseer,
be in.
yeah, as an assistant overseer, being the only one, like in our situation in Salt Lake, I was the only assistant overseer.
You're stuck with them. That's it. No one to talk to.
I can't talk to him because if I spoke to Eddie and expressed to him my issues or concerns, what is it seen as when you start telling this stuff to your leaders? What is it?
Weak faith.
Yeah, or what's the biblical term?
Subordination.
Grumbling and complaining. Grumbling and
Mhm.
complaining. That's
Mhm.
how it's seen when you start.
You bottle everything, dude. You just bottle it in, all of it,
And the thing
until
is,
it comes to a boiling point.
the thing is, I couldn't go to any other assistant overseer because there's no one there. So I had no one there to
Exactly.
relate to me. And I couldn't go to the lay members because they say, as a leader, you need to have strong faith for them. If you show weak faith, then you can weaken their
Yeah,
faith.
you don't do that.
And then you'll make them fall away or whatever. So I was stuck just bottling everything up for so many years. I couldn't go to the overseer. I couldn't go to the members. There was nothing. So I had no choice but to internalize everything until I lost it. So there was what you were saying before. There was a time where when we were doing the sanctuary construction project on the floor, it was already 10, 11 at night. And there was this brother that had already been there for hours doing construction. And, he's got a family, he's got a wife, and he's got a kid at home. And he tells Eddie, the overseer, hey, missionary, I'm going to go home because, he's got stuff to do. And then Eddie goes, well, we still have work to do, but okay, go ahead. And it's just, they're constantly just
It's like
making you
it's like
feel
saying,
bad.
according to your faith.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same.
Same thing like that.
Yeah. Guilt trip. They're guilt tripping you.
Guilt are constant guilt tripping. But I don't know.
I
What
will
were
say
you saying?
too,
I don't know why I brought
Eddie
that up.
was
But
a
you said something that
workhorse.
made me bring that up.
He
So
was
I don't know.
constantly just
I
go,
mean,
go, go,
yeah,
go.
I mean, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
That guy could work. I personally hated being in my office, like for like computer editing,
Yeah.
because dude, you get so brain dead after a while staring at my computer.
Yeah.
And when I didn't have I liked it when I had construction, because I'd be kind of away from Eddie. Like I'm just like at peace. Like it's my like meditation. Like when I'm working on something,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm probably gonna get rebuked for whatever I did, because nothing is the way it's supposed to be for some reason. But but at least I'm at peace right now. Yeah, and then I was talking about like how like I kind of try to like just I didn't like doing like because Eddie stays up so late.
Oh, you
He
like to
does.
be in your peace. You like to be in your peace. Working.
Yeah.
Doing whatever you
Yeah,
want.
like because it was my only free like it was my only like meditation because at this point, guys, I would have still been an assistant, really. I promise you. I would have still been in the church right now if my overseer just believed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he didn't, and then keep pushing me like because it was about money. Like I hated how he said, "Oh, it's your sin is money. It's money." And I'm just like, "What the heck?" Like genuinely, like I don't understand where you're getting this from. And it kind of boiled up. I think I can finish it up because it boiled up to a point. This is like the third or fourth time, guys, he brought this up to me. He pulls me in his office and he starts talking about money again. He's like, says the same thing. Mother, I really don't like talking about money. But I think you need to be like, he's trying to assume that money's going somewhere. Like I'm putting money into something, like maybe saving it and like lying to him about it, or like maybe stocks or maybe like
But you're
crypto. I
investing
don't
it
know.
somewhere.
Investing it somewhere.
Something.
Yeah.
Dude, at this time, I'm like, Eddie, how do you not think I'm faithful? Why do you think money, like, you're thinking I'm having a plan B? Now I had a plan B. After you gave me my plan B, because he would tell me, dude, it just feels like you have a plan B or something. And I'm like, Eddie, I left my military career. I don't want to be in Oklahoma. I've lived here for 5 years. Once my military career was done, my contract, I was ready to get out, go to a different Zion, but I was in a leadership position, so I'm like, I'll stick it out. I live in a shed, and I'm giving all my money to the church, and you're just like, you're not trusting me. Like, I don't know, like, where's my money going?
He has a lot of
I
trust
He has a lot of
issues.
trust issues.
100%. And now he's gonna have more after this, and it's not our fault, because I would have still been in if he would have just trusted me. I literally had to open my phone and show him my bank account just so he would stop bugging me about this. I said, Eddie, how much is in my savings? How much is in my checkings? And I'm like, does it look like I'm saving money? Does it look like I'm just hoarding money up? And he's like, no, brother. And I was pissed. Like, I'm yelling at this point, just like you were, Quincy. Like, when it just came to a boiling point. I lost all trust at this. And then I'm like, let's go through my apps, Eddie. Do you see any crypto apps or any like stock apps? And I'm like, no, you don't, do you? And I was like, I'm done talking about, like, I'm done with this. After this, guys, it goes downhill very, very fast. Now I have no respect for Eddie. I lost it because he wouldn't respect me. He wouldn't trust me when I was being so honest with him about money, and it hurts so bad because I'm like, what? It started. Now I'm questioning the church. So think about this, Eddie. You're all about saving members, leading them to the truth. You made me question the church because it started to make me feel like the church is all about money. I'm being honest. This guy is, but he keeps bringing up money. He keeps saying money is my sin when it's not. I told him and he wouldn't trust me.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of interject and mention something, Mitch, about how you said you started questioning the church. When it came to that, I also felt terrible. I did not want to question the church because at this point already you think the church is the absolute truth. It is the absolute, you know, true church of God.
Yep.
But when Eddie started doing things and, you know, I was, when they say that the overseer or any pastoral staff, they are ambassadors of Christ, like they are representative of the
Yeah.
church of God. So when he started doing things, I was also starting to think, is this what the church of God wants? Because whatever Eddie says, he's like kind of the mouth for the church of God. And
Yeah.
And I was, in my mind, I was like trying to think maybe it's not the church of God and this is just Eddie doing this all himself. But I couldn't get rid of the thought that they're one and the same because that's just what's ingrained in us as pastoral staff. You are one and the same. As I was told, as pastoral staff, you are the hands and feet of Mother. So I'm hearing Eddie, doing these things, and it just makes me start to question, like, is he just kind of veering off and going off and doing his own thing, like abusing his authority over you? Or is this also what the Church of God is doing? So over
It's a
time,
part of it. And
yeah,
I'll
so
explain why too.
and so over time, I'm thinking this is the Church of God. So the Church of God wants him to treat me like this. So now I'm starting
Yep.
to think the Church of God is all this stuff based on what Eddie's doing.
Yeah, you're right, because I started to raise my voice.
Yeah.
And I used to, because I lost my trust, and like I couldn't hold it anymore. So I just let it out. And I remember maybe he was getting irritated. Maybe he's like, maybe I can make Mitch come back. Like, I was gone, dude. After that, I'm like, with Eddie at least, I'm done. I'm gone. Like, I can't. I wasn't coming back. And we watched a video, which I don't even like. I think I mentioned that I don't think we were even supposed to watch, like, because I'm assistant. But it literally tells us, the overseer, how they're supposed to treat their assistant. I'm like, what? You're like just supposed to yell at me sometimes, just for the heck of it, and rebuke me just because? This is the video, and we're pretty much the slave of everybody. Like, assistant, this ain't no easy job, guys. You are the slave of everybody because you got to subdue to the whims of the members to please them. But at the same time, you're just getting rebuked by your overseer all the time. So, like, there's just no peace. And like you said, maybe, Quincy, if we had like another assistant that we could like talk to and vent to. But
Exactly.
it was just, I'm living in a place with people that hate me.
Yeah.
And at this time, because I started to raise my voice at Eddie because I lost my trust and he's treating me like, I remember he blew up to me and he's like, "You're so arrogant. You're so arrogant," like screaming, "You're arrogant. You're arrogant." And I'm like, wow, dude. Why do you think I'm speaking up to you? It's because the way you treated me.
Hmm.
Like, dude, I'm not gonna get bullied. Like, I hate it. I'm like, no matter how much this is a truth, I knew what he was doing was not right. It's not godly. And I wasn't going to put up with being abused and yelled at by him and him not trust me. And I lost all trust. So, like, I wasn't scared of him anymore. Like, literally, I was not scared of my overseer anymore. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. So, let's get into the report. I think this is a really important part. Adam, the reason I'm doing this right now is because when I was at the airport in New York, Adam said, "Can I talk about the report that Eddie made you sign? That he was saying was for your own benefit." He said, "Can I bring it up in Quincy's interview?" And I was shocked because I think I went through so much stuff in the church. Sorry. I went through so many bad things in the church and had many bad experiences and being lied to and manipulated with this organization, and then being coerced out all my money, and then acting like saying they trust me, but they're obviously showing they don't. And this was the end of it for sure. This is when I did my deep dive. And when Adam said that to me, I'm like, I'm going to do my interview because I can't let the church get away with this. I don't know if it was Eddie who decided to do this or if it was told by head office, but either way,
And that's what I'm
you're an
saying. You start
ambassador.
to question, is this
Yeah.
like really the will of the Church of God? Like, do they
Yeah.
want overseers doing that, or was that just something that he decided to do?
And I don't know. And either way, it's messed up. Either way, it's not right. I'm going to tell you guys how this happened. And this is the most serious thing I think I've ever heard, even in some interviews. Like, this is like, to say this wasn't blackmail, I don't know other way to put it, guys, because there's no need for what happened. He brings me into his office, and he's so short with me at this point. He just hands me 19 or more pages. Eddie he can type like crazy. From top of the page to the bottom of the page, a full report of everything he thinks I'm bad at. So many pages of a report on me. And he was so short with me this day, and he said, "Brother, this is for your own good." He said, "This is to help you grow." So I wrote all these things out to share with you what you're doing wrong. And at first I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Because that's not a problem. Well, it is a problem because what does the Bible say, Quincy? Don't do what? Don't keep record of wrong.
Yeah, love keeps no
Don't
record
keep
of wrongs.
Yeah.
what? Little kid, he's keeping tabs on me. He literally has things time stamped and dated. So like he's just waiting. He's just watching. Like now I feel so uncomfortable, guys, because I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, you're just watching everything I'm doing, and any little thing, you're trying to use it against me. This wasn't just a report, God. This wasn't just a, here, brother, here's some papers. I wrote down what you need to work on. No. It seemed like they're going to use this against me later. It had stuff like, this date, this time, Mitch Kunico did this, said this, acted or did this. Because of this reason, he is not being a good ambassador of the World Messiah Church of God. Because of this reason, he makes the church look bad. Because of this reason, he's not holding up to the standards of father and mother. Every page has and again, some of these things, he does not even have his own, like, how do I put this? It's just his thought. He never got my side of it. And he's like, sign it. And I was like, what? I sat there like in disbelief. He's at his desk trying to be quiet because he knows what he's doing. So he's just trying to think I'm just going to do it. And I sit there. I'm like, Eddie, I don't want to sign this. I don't want to sign it. I said, half the stuff you have in here is not even accurate. It's your opinion. The first page, talking about media production, it says, on this day, you were mocking Koreans. And you wouldn't listen to me when I told you to take the photo. Instead, you said, you can do it. I said to him, you can do it. And as you know, Quincy with Eddie, he tells you to do something, but then he's just doing it himself all the time, especially with photos.
All the time.
He's always doing it. He already had his camera out. He's already taken the photo. He's taking it. And then he tries to, act like I have a responsibility. He's like, oh, brother, you can take the picture for them. I'm like, Eddie, you already took it. So I said, you can do it. And he said, I am mocking Korean. He's pretty much he's literally saying I'm being racist. My wife is Korean. What? And then he's like, sign it. Sign it that you said that you were mocking Koreans. And yet, how many people use the Korean accent at our church, guys? Every brother and sister. Oh my gosh, I can name. If you're gonna hit me on that, you better tell every single member to write and sign something, because we've all been like, oh, God bless you. And then to turn it on me and like spin it, even though I told you, because I told him, he was like, you're being racist. He's like, you're mocking it. You're mocking them. He told me that day, like apart from the report, when we were doing the camera stuff, and I said, no, I'm not. No, I wasn't. I told him already I didn't, but he still put on paper I was. And then he said, you're bad for this reasons, you're mocking them, sign it. And then he has on another page, when you went on your think how messed up this is. I'm spending all my money to take the young adult brothers, using my car, paying for all the gas, to take them on a short term to Arkansas. And I already told them I want to go hiking with the members. And he approved it. But he's like, you need to go preaching in the morning first. But I'm not running it. Like Deacon Alonzo, who's like the house church leader in like Little Rock, Arkansas, he's the one, he's going to lead the preaching meeting. I need to wait for the members to get there before we can have a preaching meeting. And anyways, ends up being late. Nobody's come because like, oh, I'm too late. They said we're only going to be able to go hike. We've been waiting for people. So at this point, it's like, okay, I told everybody we're going hiking. Everybody's excited, but now we have no time to go preach. So I'm just going to take people hiking. We're just going to go hike. Not a problem, because we already preached all day Saturday. So I just take them hiking. And then when I get back, he was like, how was it? I'm like, it was good, this and that. And he's like, you guys go preach or anything on this day? I'm like, oh, no, I'm just being honest. Like, no, because members, like situations and timing, they weren't going to be here in time. They were only going to be able to make it to the hiking. And then Deacon Alonzo and them, they're the ones, they wanted to get us breakfast and make us breakfast and stuff to serve us, to be nice to us. So we didn't go preach in the morning. We already preached all day the other day. And so I just took him hiking. And Eddie freaks out on me. He says, no. Then you cut off your event and you go preaching. And he put it in the report too, saying, Mitch Mitch is a bad assistant because he disobeys. And I'm like, Eddie, if this is for like my own good, why are you putting your opinion in it? And like saying why I'm bad, and then like saying this is why he's a bad ambassador of the church. And I think Eddie was doing this to blackmail me because he's trying to he had me sign them all. He wouldn't let me leave unless I signed it. And this is not just one thing. There's so many things in that report. Pages of it. The basketball hoop that he told me to install. He told me, he gave me free reign. Just install it, put it in the middle. I install it. He's like, wow, brother, I love it. This is great. He didn't even rebuke me at this time, but he's just like, hey, you should have measured it off on this side more because it's not centered. Like, I was like a foot off. But like, dude, this is like weird, like asphalt, like and grass is even growing over it. Like, it's not a perfect corner. Like, there ain't no, it ain't nothing gonna be perfect. And I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. I paid for the concrete myself. I put that thing up, installed it all by myself, and I got rebuked for that. And then he puts it in my report. Terrible at listening to instructions. Won't listen to my instructions. When he's doing things himself. He doesn't ask me before he does stuff, even though he told me just do it. This happens all the time with Eddie when we're doing a task. He's like, yeah, brother, I trust you. Do it. Go ahead. And then he comes up later and I get rebuked. Why did you do it? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? You should have asked me. Dude, you're so micromanaging. Like, I had no breathing room with you. And then you're blackmailing. What is that, Eddie? I really want to know. Like, what was that? Because if it's just a report and you want to tell me what I did wrong, okay, that's okay. Write it out on paper. But then to have like threatening things on the bottom and like saying, well, I'm bad and stuff, you're literally blackmailing me because you're trying to say I'm bad and you're trying to make me look really bad by putting your opinion at the bottom. And half of the stuff you said, you never actually asked for the full story. I even told you I wasn't mocking Koreans. I have a Korean wife. That's ridiculous. And you made me sign all those things. I'm sorry. I don't even want to point my finger, but this is one of the things I do want to get a little bit more. I'm not going to be as composed. Just talking about that because that was so messed up. And I even told him I'm not sure if I want to be assistant overseer anymore. He's like, it's up to you. Like, so I'd put my life into this church, and this guy is just like nonchalant. Up to you.
So he
And that's
didn't
why
tell you you're injecting heroin in your body, you're
nope.
taking your own life by doing this. He didn't say that to you?
Nope, he didn't say I'm unaliving myself. He just like he did to you, injecting heroin or black tar into me. That's ridiculous, Eddie. Can't believe you said that to Quincy. And as nice as you are to members, like you think you can get away with the things you did. You coerced me out of money. You did. I told you it wasn't out of my heart. I was coerced out of money. We were never paid. I'm so happy me and you weren't paid by the church because now we can just say what we want. We can share our experience. They didn't pay us. And I think it's so funny, Quincy, when you leave, they pay you $3,500, but me, they're like, dude, like, screw Mitch, get him out of here. Nothing. Even on the Sabbath day when I was like leaving, he didn't mention anything. I had to go mention to members that I was leaving. So anyways, I wanted to share what happened after that report, what happened to me. At this point, I'm not scared of Eddie at all anymore. I'm done. Because to me, this was a threat to me. This was I told him this feels like blackmail. And I was really mad at Eddie for a while. Like, I'm not talking to him. I'm not really smiling to him. And then he's using I don't even know if he's using her, but Emma just starts taking it out on me. Being super rude to me, short with me, getting mad at me. And my wife, she hurt. Like, my wife wasn't happy either, guys. Like, my wife she was ready to go. I'm on the downward slope of things. So I'm going to start back up again. So Yeah, I mean, I wasn't getting treated right, and they were like, "Why is Mitch mad all the time? Why is he so short with us?" And I had my reasons, guys. Like, you already broke my trust. I already lost my respect. Because even though I told Eddie the truth, he wouldn't believe me. And then the coercion, and then the report was the end of the road for me. The reason I left the World Messiah Church of God is because of this report. This is hands down the thing that hurt me so much to where even though I never had a single doubt my whole life of faith, I finally gave myself the courage to be like, I'm going to start looking. But I didn't start with World Messiah Church of God. I started like watching other cult videos on other cults like Shincheonji, Jehovah's Witnesses, Scientology, like these other cult groups, and I learned so much about them. Because I was in the church, literally like cleaning it at this point. Because I'm just like so done. I'm like with that broom. I'm just jamming out to some like cult episodes. I'm like, yeah, I went through that. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm just like doing construction, one headphone in. I'm listening to all that, and then eventually I'm like, yeah, I'm about to start watching Great Lies Studios. Dude, I watched every video. I mean, this is
So
what I
is
was
Eddie
put through,
watching
and
these videos? When somebody speaks
I
out
don't
that was over
know,
him, does he
but when this
watch them?
happened, he said he had a comment on some videos, and this was like the same couple days after Adam spoke out, and he said he was going to be busy for multiple days, like super busy, because he had a head office was sending him some stuff, and he had a comment on it, not like YouTube comment, but like maybe they were sending him like screen, like what you said or something, or so like this one, I wouldn't doubt it. It might happen as well,
Which is
which
weird
is
though,
fine.
because in my Great Light Studios interview, I don't say anything about Eddie.
I know,
Like to my knowledge, I
but
don't say anything about him.
you were with him. I don't know. It was strange. So maybe he just does that for all
Interesting.
of them. Who knows? I
And
don't know.
really,
I can neither.
I have nothing against Eddie. Like I can't just, you know,
Yeah.
have like,
No, don't do it.
yeah, I don't have
Don't.
anything
Yeah.
against Eddie. So Eddie, if you're watching this, I don't have anything against you, but at the same time, like I'm trying to hear both sides, and that's the point of my channel is hearing both sides because you don't get both sides in this place, right? You just hear
Yeah. You don't.
the one side the church wants you to, and honestly, I would love like last time we talked to Quincy, I would love to have you on the channel too. Tell your side, right? Or any overseer or any, like you have a right to tell your side as well. Instead of just,
Yep.
you know, just closed door education, like
Taken away
just because
phones
that's
for.
in the church you only get one side as well, so that's why I'm trying to do this. Like Eddie, if you want to come on and we can all talk and we can all hash it out and we can, you can tell your side of the story as well. I'm all for it. That's the
Hmm.
beauty of America. That's the beauty of our freedoms is we can do this kind of thing.
Yeah. And I won't be like silenced like Michelle Cologne. That like the church. It's a very litigious, like meaning they like to. They're a sue happy church. They did it to Michelle Cologne, and like I'm not scared. Quincy isn't either. We're just here. We're just trying to share our story, guys, and it's our opinion, it's our experience, what we're sharing, and yeah, I guess I can continue a bit with what happened, everything. Adam dropped his video, watched it. I was like, wow, got to get in contact with this guy. But before that, I wanted to get in contact with Brandon, the one that left. That to me, he was so big to me in my life of faith. And to know he left, I'm like, I need to talk to him. And I did. He didn't reach out to me. It was really hard to get a hold of Brandon. Really difficult. But I did. And I was like, wow, you're going through the same stuff. You left for very similar reasons. And at this time, then I get in contact with Adam. We're talking. And man, the list goes on. Michelle Cologne, Raymond, Anthony. You just name them. I probably was on the phone talking to him, and
Is this while you were at the church or after you left the
this
church?
is where I'm at. This is where I'm in the church. Yeah, I'm talking to all these people,
Adam, you
listening to the
gave
stuff.
me Mitch's number because he told me like he was assistant overseer for Eddie. I'm like, finally, I have someone to relate to. I want to talk to this guy and see
Yeah,
if we
Oh
have common
yeah.
experiences. And then I reach out to you through like a Google phone number or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
We didn't really talk much just because I was so busy trying to
Yeah.
figure out my escape, like genuinely, like,
Yeah.
how am I getting out of this?
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, what if this is still true? And I talked to C.W. Kim, and church doesn't like to hear that one. Anyways, I do a deep dive. I don't just go to like Exposing the World Inside Church of God. I actually go to the Korean websites and I'm translating. I'm reading all of An Sang-hong's original books at this time, all of them. Translating every single one, every article I can find in Korean because I wanted to go to the source. And I spent months and months and months doing this to finally be like, I'm done. And at that point, we're talking to Quincy and Ellen. It's a kind of funny story how all this happened and like how like Eddie knew why I was going to Korea, but he acted like he didn't know why I was going, him and his wife. And it was so funny because tides turned. All of a sudden, they're so nice to me. So before I went to Korea, they sent me to Dallas with Pastor Jacob, and he did the best he could. Honestly, I felt kind of bad. I feel like he doesn't even know all this stuff. And I showed everything to him. I'm like, hey, why is it then, like Soo-in's book, God in the Flesh, 1978, why were her, who was the publisher, and then the other person who was like the first pastor of An Sang-hong, who were the co-publishers, if she was so bad, why didn't they get excommunicated until like 4 years later? This book was published. An Sang-hong knew about it. If it was so bad, he would have excommunicated him, but he didn't. And then you see, An Sang-hong in all of his early writings before this book was written said nothing about like him, like the Melchizedek or the King David or the prophecy of King David's throne. They all appeared in this book written in 1978 by Soo-in, God in the Flesh. And then a couple years later, you see the similar things in An Sang-hong's book. So like we're told this story, she stole from father's bag. Well, if she did, and that's what she wrote in the content of this book, why is she just all of a sudden allowed to stay in the church for like 4 more years until, she does what she does? And then, there's always, the women's veil, was it the New Jerusalem, the bride in the women's veil or something? Members, like when they show us these things, they never show us the full books. They always, in the videos, highlight, like blur out everything else and only let you see what you, like, they're controlling the information. Even with An Sang-hong's original writings, we can't have them. We can't see An Sang-hong's original books. If they use them, they take snippets. If this is God's books, shouldn't we be able to read them? And if you read the New Jerusalem, the Bride and the Women's Veil book against Mother, they say An Sang-hong, he tried to take those books back. You're right, actually, World Inside Church of God. The first publishing of it was actually taken back by An Sang-hong. Do you know why? Because there was a lot of problems in the church with Soo-in. What was actually going on? There was a lot of problems going on with it. So he did like a first copy and he sent it out to everybody. But here's where this is partial truth. They only ever tell us partial truth. Yes, An Sang-hong took those back, but guess what? If he took it back for good, because they say, some members kept it. You know what I mean? Some members kept it, and that's why they're bad, because An Sang-hong asked for it back, but they kept it. Well, then why, in October, like a couple months later, he published the full version of the book and then spread it out to all the churches? It's because this is an unchanging truth, what he says, which they don't like to show us, right? It's an unchanging truth, meaning there's no mother God. It's an unchanging truth. Can't change it, guys. You go to chapter 5, it clearly explains you're delusional if you think there's a female God. So the problem is they only show us like parts in the preface where it's like, against Soo-in. It's true. Part of it was against Soo-in because of her claims. But if you read the book, he's really trying to help people understand, guys. There ain't no mother God. So this stuff was really big. And at this point, I tell head office about my doubts. I meet with Pastor Jacob, and it didn't help. Made it worse, actually, especially with the doomsday prophecies and hearing all the excuses why the 3 chapters were removed. They got all kinds, guys. One of them, because Mother said. The other one, Oh, because they're spread out through the other truth books, brother. It was just too big, so we put it through other truth books. So it makes it a little easier to read. They don't tell you what chapters those are. And then I believe that because that's what I was originally told. But then when I read the original Green Book, and I've already read all the truth books, I'm like, nope, they lied. Nope, they're not in the other truth books. They just took them out. And then they say the other one, I was told at head office, oh, brother, because it was fulfilled, brother. Those chapters were fulfilled, so we don't need them. And I'm like, please tell me you didn't just say that. I guess let's get rid of the Bible. Let's get rid of the 1948 prophecy of King David coming, because that was already fulfilled too. That excuse is ridiculous, and it shows they have no out. They have no out. It's just believe in Mother, but if you don't believe in Mother, then like that doesn't work. And if you read the originals, it doesn't work to say that it was put in other books, if you've read all the truth books. So they have multiple different ways to lie about that, but in the end of the day, there's failed doomsday prophecies in those, and that's where they're removed. 1988. And also, I think with the 40 years of Jerusalem, yeah, anyways, you have another one in there, and because An Sung Hong only really ever claimed to be Elijah for the most part. So they have a lot of problems with what they say. Anyways, I get back to Oklahoma and I give it about a week and I'm like, nope, I'm done. And so I tell head office my questions. I said, it did not work. So they fly me to Korea for a little, maybe 12 days, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. It was a while. And I think that's what we'll pick up on for my part 2. The climax, me getting sent to Korea, what some shocking things I have to share with you guys there that I learned. Shocking. I met with Zong Il-ja, Kim Ju-chol, met with their internet mission team pastor. Many things happened there, and I think people are going to be shocked when they hear the part 2. So stay tuned.
Well, that's a good
And in
place
case
to
I don't
wrap it
see
up.
you, good morning, good afternoon,
Don't.
and good night.
Don't.
And then also, we can end it with a "We love you."
Don't you
For
dare.
good time's sake, guys. For old time's sake, right?
I don't want to do
You ready?
it, dude.
No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do it. Stop it.
Okay,
That's triggering, actually. I'm just kidding. Maybe on part 2, I'll have more to say.
Okay. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe and do all that stuff, especially the 63 of you that haven't subscribed yet. But regardless, I appreciate you all watching, and hopefully this was as insightful for you as it was for me. And thank you, Mitch, for telling your story. And Quincy, thank you for being here and giving some valuable input. And again, to the WMSCOG leaders and members watching this, again, this is our opinion, this is our experience, this is our thoughts on the matters that we ourselves went through and experienced and things that happened to us. So just keep that in mind. And again, if anyone wants to come on and tell the other side too, if there's a World Society Church of God leader or member that wants to discuss their side of the story, they are always more than welcome to, talk to us and, share some stuff with us.
and maybe we can share my resignation letter too at part 2.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the resignation letter, talk about the Korea trip, and then the aftermath of all that good stuff. So if that's interesting, or if that seems interesting to you, then feel free to stick around for part 2. Thanks, guys.
All right. We love you.
I stopped it.